Oh. Let's try this again. Hi, Kiani.
Hello.
All right. How are my sound levels right now? Can you hear my voice over the music, or is a little one of the other soft or loud?
I think you're fine.
Of course, I can't hear you. How is it? Anybody? Is it okay? Cool. Okay. I just couldn't hear you because it was too awesomely loud musically. Okay, everybody. I'm going to hang out for a little bit and let everybody check in and say hi. I'm going to unmute you so you can say hello to each other's beautiful faces. But also, let's take the time to check in via the chat, which is down here. Chat. Remember to tell me which class you're in. Dun, dun. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
Hello, Sarah. Nice to see you. Judy, welcome back. Janelle, welcome back. Olivia, hello. Kim, howdy. Michaela's here, and Connor, and Wei Wei, Daniel, and Alexander, and Ken, Anthony. Yay. We have humans. Real humans. It's so nice. So we have construction over here going on, you guys, and I apologize if you can hear it. I'm in the farthest, quietest room I could get to. But hopefully you won't notice it because we'll be playing fun music, right? Cool. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys hot?
Yes.
Yeah. At least you'll feel nice and warm as we warm up because the warm weather will make your muscles a little bit more eager to loosen. Hello, Hanako. Welcome back. Hello, Joey. The Kelly
Hi.
ladies are here. Yay. Do you guys have any special requests today? I'm going to scooch my thing down so you can see my face a little better. Nice. We got a good turnout. That's cool.
Hold on a second.
Hello, Shirley. Nice to see your face. Oh, it's so nice to see real humans, like without masks on.
Yeah.
I know. Does this feel more familiar now? Oh. Cool. I see an animal friend. I'm excited.
This is Coco.
Oh. Hello. Oh, kitty.
Really hyper right now.
Maggie brought a friend. Janelle, you're being visited by a large dog. Yay. So I'm in the cat-free room, so you guys are going to miss out on my assistant teachers this week, but hopefully soon. Do you guys have, you probably don't yet because we just got started and you don't even know what to ask for, but usually I try and start class by asking you guys if there's anything in particular that you want me to focus on in terms of, oh, hello! In terms of how your bodies are feeling today. I'm probably just going to take it a little easy and run over some basics. But I wanted to give you guys a chance to make requests, either in the chat box or you guys can unmute yourself at the moment.
Well, Amber, do you have anything that stretches the upper back, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about like shoulders or more like in the center upper back or a
Like
little
the
bit
center upper back?
center upper back?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been having problems there for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't know why, actually.
Yeah, we can try and loosen that up. Have you been sitting at your desk a lot?
Yeah.
That can sometimes
Yeah.
do it. Hold on, sorry, I'm multitasking. Can you tell by my face looking all? Okay, so I'm starting our YouTube live, which is basically here as a backup. And it's on unlisted, so you can't find it unless you have the code. So don't worry. And let me make sure I'm turning on speaker view. We have speaker view here. Good. And we're gonna pin me.
Yeah, I have speaker.
Cool. All right, so I'm pinning my video center so you guys should be able to see me. I'm gonna scroll down chats and see if there's any other requests. Probably not yet today. Yay! Awesome. All right, friends. I think do we technically start at 3:10 on the schedule for the Tuesday, Thursday, folks?
I think so.
I think so. Okay, so I'm gonna wait another 4 minutes, but feel free to say hi to each other and ask me any requests. I have to remember all my settings for all of my thingies. Like mute here, record there, press this button, use this speaker, like that. Magical setup. Hello, Eileen. Hello, Adriana. Hello, Sura. Joanna and Sam. Yay. Did you guys get a chance to read the 7 yoga moving principles yet?
Yes.
Sweet. I'll talk about those a little bit. Hello, Joey. Joey, did you tell me already which? Hi! Yay! Fun voices. Joey, are you in the 1 or 2 unit class? Did you type that in already?
Yeah, I'm 1 unit class.
Okay, can you type that in so that when I take roll later, it'll be easier for me to make sure I gotcha, please?
I always thought Michael got a bad rap. Yeah, maybe I should tell him before he goes. All the way over there.
Who's the little one, Maggie?
Here we are. I would just like
This is Ava.
Hi, Ava.
He's at a babysit. Now say hi. Say hi, Ava. Ooh,
Was
girl.
that an otter pop? Sweet.
It's really hot. Like, it's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot. Raise your hand if you're dying. Oh, we got halvesies. Sarah Carlson, is your pool open?
No,
Neighborhood pool? Still no pool?
no, because COVID, I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Time soon.
Mom says sometime soon. I don't know.
I wish I had a pool.
Well, if you be my best friend, I'll let you come over.
Oh, look at that. A neighborly invitation. I'll take it. All right, guys. 3 new messages. Cool.
Wanna go? Okay, bye-bye.
Is everybody, well, I guess it doesn't help if I ask you guys if you got here, right? Because you guys got here. Yeah, brilliant, huh? Wah, wah. Okay, guys, shall we yoganate?
Where's Mr. Milk?
I'm in the cat-free room. So there's no kitties in here. I'm sorry, but it was the only quiet place in the house today. So we dismantled the couch bed to put me in here. The view's not as good. There's trees out there. Trees, but only a few of them. Hopefully next week or the week after, I'll be back in the room with the fluffy cats interrupting yoga class, because it's always fun to do a nice chaturanga, like plant your face right in your pet. Right, guys? The dog's like, yes, I'm here for downward dog. Yay. Okay, I'm going to mute you guys just so that the screen stays focused on me. Feel free to, do you guys see down probably on this side for you, there's a reactions button. So you can do a little clappy or a thumbs up down there if you want, or you can type into a chat. My computer's a little bit far away from where I'll be sitting, so it'll be a little tricky for me to say. So see you guys, but waving frantically also sometimes work, and I'll try and sneak back and check and see if anybody has any questions. So we're gonna do some yoga. I'm going to choose 3 poses that I'd like to see pictures of for those of you who are joining the recording of this session as opposed to the live session. For those of you who are here live on the Zoom with me, I will probably at the end maybe ask for us to
I think maybe Hank should be here.
sort of a good question, whether I should.
You're gonna mess with me? Is that what you're gonna do? I'll tell you something, Charles.
Do you guys have a preference about whether I pause in the middle to take a look at how you guys are doing, or do it at the end? Okay, Adriana, hang in there. Let's kind of feel that out and see how we feel about it, yeah? Because I'd love to be able to give you guys some feedback. So maybe in the middle, I'll stop and come and look at the Brady Bunch screen again to make sure that we're understanding. Last semester, I got to start with everybody live, so I already knew that you knew what I was talking about instead of me just talking to myself. Okay. Doot. Okay. Shoo. I'm gonna back this up. Olivia, I can see you at the top, so if I'm having a sound problem, can you let me know that you can't hear me, please? Visually. Cool, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna start us off in the easy pose. It's actually called that, which is pretty fantastic. So we're just gonna hang out with your legs crossed, and you can do an easy pose in sort of any way that's comfortable for you, but the idea is that you're trying to get your spine and torso as lifted and open feeling as possible so that you can relax and breathe really deeply. And then also in the easy pose, we usually leave our palms up and open unless we're doing a specific hand shape for a specific meditative purpose. So either here or just hands together, whatever feels more calming for you to start with. And we'll take our time breathing in nice and deeply all the way down into your belly. And the idea is that if we can slow down our cardiovascular system, so your breath and heartbeat, then that sends a signal to your brain that it's okay to pump out the nice, calming, relaxing hormones and endorphins instead of the stressful ones. So when we begin class, we'll begin with a few minutes just breathing, and then I'll let you know when you might want to open your eyes again, and then we'll just walk through slowly some arm movements and some torso stretches. And our goal for today is to focus on probably the first, well, it's kind of two major goals. One is we're going to focus on breath, which is the first of the yogic moving principles. And the idea for breathing in yoga is that you want to continuously breathe deeply, as opposed to sometimes when we're stressed out, we tend to breathe shallowly or maybe hold our breath if we're doing something that's a little more challenging. So our goal is to keep breathing in and out the whole time. And one of the things I usually do in a yoga class is to consider the theme of breathing in when you come to upright and breathing out when you're bending the spine or going down. So if we're elongating, we're probably breathing in. And if we're bending, we're probably exhaling. So breath is going to be a key thing for today. Alignment stuff is also the other thing I'm going to talk about, since we haven't worked together very much yet. And so couple of safety things before we get started. One is, if everybody wants to grab your knees and give them a little quick rub. You have your kneecap, right, which is this circular bone right on the tip of your knee, and below that there's a big tendon. If you kind of pinch underneath, there's a tendon right there. It feels like a little rope right there that you can pinch. And you want to, at all times, pretty much in your whole life, have that little tendon lining up with your second toe or your pointer finger toe. So if we're standing in a lunge or something, for example, you're going to, instead of having, you want this tendon to be lined up with your second toe, as opposed to sometimes our knees fall out or fall in or twist in a different direction than the toe. And it's okay for both of them to turn into the same direction, but we want them to stay together most of the time. So that's safety alignment issue number one, is knee and toe are going to always be pointing in the same direction. Same is true here in a squat. Knees and toes same direction. If I'm going to change that, I'm going to change both my knees and my toes at the same time. The next one that I'm going to talk about over and over and over again all this semester is safety for your lower back. A lot of us have lower back injuries. And the key for that is to think about gently lifting in your belly lock, as we call it in yoga. And that's just, we'll feel that as we start breathing. So you're just gently, softly lifting it in. It doesn't have to be the tightest belly squeeze you've ever seen. Obviously, me demonstrating a belly lock is pretty funny right now. But what we want to do is to lift that belly in and to think about lengthening the tailbone down and opening the front of your hips. And that'll keep your lower back nice and long, and it'll keep it nice and protected. And then we'll do a little bit of upper back today. So in general, you want to think about those shoulders being rolled down and back and feeling a little bit open. And your shoulder blades, whenever you're thinking about upper back alignment, the shoulder blade is this triangle bone that's right here, and it sits back together. But when we slouch all the time, it kind of curls forward, yeah? Whenever we're tired and working too much. So you want to think about anchoring the point of this shoulder blade by pulling it down and towards your spine, so your heart feels like it's opening up. So those are my three main safety alignment tips: knees, lower back, and shoulders with an open heart. So we'll come back to those all the time. All right, so I'm going to turn on music, yay! And we'll start with some slow breath. Try and feel yourself breathing all the way down into the bottom of your torso. And from there, we'll just follow along for a while. We'll try and get through as much as we can and have some fun. Yeah, that'll be our goal. Okay, here we go with the music. I'm gonna look at Olivia and make sure you guys can still hear me talking when I start the music. So can you hear my volume okay? Olivia, thumbs up, yes? Okay, cool. All right, friends. Time for some yoga. So find yourself into your easy pose. Let your hands rest either on your knees or in each other's hands. And let your eyes close for a little bit. I'll let you know when I'm moving on from this position so you can just relax into a nice deep breath. Feeling your shoulders roll back and your chest expand, and then your belly expand as you breathe in. And as you slowly exhale, you feel your belly soften towards your spine and your shoulders melt away from your ears. Breathing in through your nose if you can. If it's not comfortable, it's all right to breathe through your mouth. And exhaling out through your mouth. Let yourself relax into that breath, knowing that for this moment you have no other responsibilities, just to breathe. Take one more big breath all the way into your belly. And a big exhale out. Let your eyes open. On your next breath in, we're going to take those arms and float them up in the air. Let them meet above your head and exhale, and we're drawing a line down our center line as we exhale completely until you're absolutely out of air at the bottom, and then we'll breathe in again. And exhale those hands down the center. So we're making a great big circle with the hands. One more time with the circle, big breath in, arms come up the side, feel your spine lengthen. And exhale, take those hands down past your center line, dropping your head, neck, and shoulders, and leaning forward into a nice relaxed stretch towards the ground. Big deep breaths here. Just let yourself melt forward. I'll let you know when it's time to come back up. Another big breath in and out, letting your hip sockets open and your back release. And when you're ready, go ahead and inhale and roll yourself back up. So I'm stacking my lower back, my middle back, and my upper back. Rolling those shoulders back. Big breath in. I'm going to reach up with both hands. And I'm going to lean over to what I believe is your right. Leaning over. See if you can get the side of your body to feel as long as possible. And you might feel the temptation to get farther by lifting your hip off the ground, but we're going to leave our hips down on the ground here. Feel both hips into the earth, stretching through the side body, so your ribs, maybe your armpit as well. And let's add a little bit of motion here. So we're going to breathe in. And I'm going to radiate, reaching as far as I can with my hand to the back of the room behind me. And let that arm keep swinging as you exhale until it's reaching to your left side. And then we'll inhale as the arm comes forward in that big circle and back to the side and exhale. So just let your arm go as far out as you can reach and enjoy that breathing circle, making space in your shoulder joint. Opening up your chest, your pectoral muscle, let your neck bend towards your right shoulder. This time as you breathe in, we're going to come back up center. Both arms and spine are all reaching up, and we'll exhale and we'll go over to your left side and just take a moment feeling long. And I want my shoulders to be right on top of each other. So it's almost as though that I'm against a wall and my back is flat as I reach to the side. I'm taking these fingers as far over as I can, and the opposite hip is staying down as much as possible. Big breath in. Exhale as the arm opens the chest behind you. Reach as far as you can away from yourself. Inhale, you can curve the back on the way up if that feels good. Find what feels delicious to you. And this one's going to lift us up. Back up to center. We're going to drop our shoulder blades down the back. Open your arms up super wide and lift your heart up to the sky. I like to say here that you're imagining catching a great big fluffy cloud that's like just floating down onto your chest. Slightly drop the chin so the back of your neck is long. You feel your upper back working and your abdominal wall. Exhale, taking those arms behind your back. Roll those shoulders back and squeeze them together, and we're just going to arch here for today. You might feel the urge to really let your head go, but instead I want you to tuck your chin and lengthen your neck. So you're trying to make the back of your neck long and lift your heart as high as possible. If it feels good to twist a little bit here, go ahead and let yourself twist. Bring your chin back to your chest. Rise back up. And we're going to curve our spine backwards in space and switch your legs. Coming back to the front. You might notice sometimes I will turn sideways to make it easier for you guys to see me, but you don't have to turn if I don't instruct you to. I'm just doing it to demonstrate. Let yourself float down this time like a leaf in the fall. When you get to the ground, you can stay still, or if it feels good to you, go ahead and sway back and forth. Big deep breaths. The more you breathe, the more you're going to feel good. Because we're filling ourselves up with oxygen, telling our body that we're safe to relax. Come down in the center for a moment and just rest here in the middle. Palms up, let your head fall towards the floor. And on your next inhale, we're going to draw our belly towards the spine and reach up and out to rise up to upright. And this time we're going to twist. So I'm going to let my arms go out to the sides like a big letter T. I'm going to take a big breath in, almost like someone's lifting up my spine. And I'm going to rotate to your left. Exhale as you go. Keep your spine right on top of the bottom of your pelvis. So we're not bending here to get a little further around. We're trying to lengthen. I'm going to roll my shoulders back and drop my arms and let my hands assist me on the floor to turn a little bit further. Big deep breaths. Let your chin lead your face a little further towards the back. One more breath here in the twist. And inhale back center, letting your arms come back up as you rotate to the front. And exhale to the other side. Let your shoulders drop down. Look around yourself. Use your abdominal wall to twist first. On your next breath, drop those shoulders back. Find the floor and get a little twistier. You should really feel your shoulder blades pulling down the back of your spine to help you rotate. One more breath here. And inhale brings you front and center. Again, we're going to drop the hands down just behind the pelvis. I'm going to turn so you can see. My fingertips are facing forward. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together to open up the heart. Pressing my hands into the mat. I'm going to tuck my chin in and lengthen my neck to the back of the room. And here you can just arch through the back if that feels great to you. But if you'd like to add in a pelvic lift, you can also lift the pelvis off the floor. And that is your choice every time. So I usually say that something is optional. You can add it on if it feels good. This is one of those things. So hips lifted is optional. Find your breath here and really support your body by pushing your fingers and your knuckles into the ground. Exhale brings your pelvis back to the ground if it was up. Inhale, rise. Exhale, go ahead and tuck your belly back and slide your feet forward. We're just going to go for a little walk here. A little walk with those legs. Feel like you're lifting yourself up. And make sure your knees and toes are pointed up in the air. And exhale, start to lean forward. Now, everybody's body does some little weird thing. For me, it's this leg is more rotated. So do try and maintain knees and toes pointing up. And let's lift our knees just a little bit. We'll do 3 breaths to get into this first forward fold. Big breath in. Exhale, coming into the fold. Inhale, like you're unfurling a roll of carpet or fabric. Exhale, melt it down. Keeping those knees slightly bent. One more time. And exhale, we'll rest in that forward fold. Just take this time to be with your body, to feel how you're starting today. And you want your legs to be parallel. Unless you have a giant belly to accommodate that is full of a child, then you can move your legs a little farther apart to make some room for that. Everybody else, please keep your legs parallel so you're stretching inside and outside of the thighs evenly. Find that breath again. Gently rolling back up. exhale, curve that pelvis, bend your knees. So I have about the space of a fist in between my thighs here. And I'm gonna work on that feeling of tucking the tailbone underneath that we talked about earlier. So I'm gonna put my hands on my hips just so you can kind of see that rotation. I lift up, exhale 3 times to tuck it underneath. And I'm pulling my belly in as much as I can here, even though it's hard to see. 3, 2, 1. Just waking up your core and your belly lock. Imagine that belly button going in towards your spine. Notice whether your knees want to open as you do this and try and keep them straight together, that same distance. Come on up. Exhale into the low position. And let's take our hands to the ground today. We're going to roll our hips to one side. And bring your hips all the way center. And roll your hips to the other side. So you should feel your weight all the way on the side of the hip there. And roll center. I'm going to face front so it's a little easier for you to see. We're going to use that same action, just twisting the waist to work the obliques. You can put your hands on the floor, bus stop A. Stay there. Notice I'm keeping my heart mostly forward. Or you can do it with your hands off for a little more challenge today. And we'll go center, 2, twist, 2, center, 2, twist, 2. Stay in your twist. Go ahead and lift up your arms and just lift that leg a few times. Drop your shoulders down. Pull your belly in. Exhale, center, and come over to the other side. Lift those arms up. Feel your spine extend. Drop your arms down. Keep your spine lifted. And come center. Go ahead and bring your feet in to Baddha Konasana or bound angle pose. So my soles of my feet are together. They can be close or far depending on your body. We'll take a big breath in to get nice and long. And exhale back into your forward fold over those Baddha Konasana legs. 3 big breaths here. Biggest, longest breaths you can manage. And walk it back up. Before we go on, let's just clarify the words turned out versus parallel. So for parallel, position the legs because we're about to do some lunges. My knees and toes are in the same direction, pointed forward, like the way that my shoulders and hip bones are facing. And if I'm turning out my legs, that means my knees, not just my feet, but my knee as well. My knees and feet have both rotated. So just take a second before we stand up. Point your knees parallel and turn it out. And parallel, turn it out. Keep thinking about lifting up through that torso. So you're radiating through the top, the crown of your head. Boop, 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 boop. Nice. All right. Let's find ourselves into a little crouch position here. Knees and toes forward. And you might notice that your soles of your feet might feel tight in this position. So go ahead and let yourself roll through those feet a couple times before we stand up. As you roll forward, you'll feel your toes and arches stretch. As your weight shifts backwards, you'll feel the stretch go up into the calf muscles. And we're gonna have a lot of conversations, especially next week, about hand placement on the floor. And that hand and arm placement is gonna make a big difference in how your wrists feel in this class. So We'll break this down deeper next time, but for now, think about your fingers making an L shape. Your pointer fingers would be straight forward, and we spread our hands out. I like to say, imagine you're a little kid saying, I'm 10 years old. So huge, huge hands on the floor, pointer fingers forward. Our elbows are micro bent whenever they're taking weight. So we don't want to hyperextend them. Yeah, instead we want to micro bend them, which is more muscular work. Micro bend, and elbows stay rotated back behind you. So before we stand up, let's do a little chicken motion here. Excellent. You guys get an A already. Yeah. So we're going to think about, for any time our hands go on the floor, elbows are squozen in to our sides. Pointer fingers are up. Yeah. Go ahead and place those hands on the floor and go back and forth through that rock, trying to squeeze your elbows against the body, whether that's your knees or your ribs, whatever they hit. Feel that squeezy motion. And then we're going to slowly lift our tailbones up and come to our first standing forward fold. Let your head drop. Let gravity take over your neck. Breathe into it. Just take a moment and enjoy it. And when you're ready, exhale and bend those knees. Feel your tailbone dropping towards the earth. And you're going to take 3 full breaths to roll all the way up to standing. Just really take your time to come upright. I'm going to save this song on the playlist for later. All right. And when you come all the way to your upright position, go ahead and come to the front of your mat. I'm going to not come to the front of my mat, but you come to the front of your mat. Yes, and we will do the mountain pose. So our feet are both together. This is like easy pose part 2, the mountain pose. Our hip bones, knees, and second toes are all forward. There's a little bit of a squeeze in, and we just roll those shoulders back and stand up nice and tall. We're going to start my class for our sun salutation breakdown with just a couple of breaths here. Reminding ourselves of this center line. When we come back to the center idea, we're going to talk about how we're pressing our shoulder blades to the center, pressing our hands to the center, pressing our bellies to the center, pressing our thighs to the center. All right, let's squat with those knees straight forward. Don't let them do any weird tricks here. You want to keep them aligned. And we're going to lift up, and I'm going to tuck my buns underneath, engaging my abdominal wall as I inhale. Open my chest to the sky and drop my arms back. And I want to feel long and lifted out of the pelvis here. So don't just bend in your middle back and shove your belly button forward. Instead, think about getting taller through the top of your head. Big breath in brings you home. Exhale, bring your hands down the center. You can soften your knees a little bit if you like, and come forward to a forward fold. Your knees here can be as bent as they need to be to make you comfortable. It's not an extreme stretch moment. Your feet should be together. Inhale, unless you are pregnant, you can make a little more space if you need to, but otherwise do feel that squeeze inward. And find your flat back. You want to feel like your head is reaching over to this wall and your tailbone's out behind you. Exhale, soften your knees, bend everything down to the floor. And place your hands on the floor like we discussed. Pointer finger forward. We're going to step back with our left foot. Boink. And we're going to bring this right foot a little further forward for high lunge. Go ahead and feel your weight in both feet evenly. Our back leg is going to be trying to be straight. And our front knee is going to try to be right above the front ankle, never past it. From there, I just have my Fingertips on the floor for balance. I'm gonna press into both feet, gather up my abdomen, and rise into high lunge. And this is different than warrior one. We'll do warrior one soon, but not today. Think about wrapping your pelvis to the front of the room, reaching that back thigh back, softening your front leg. One day we would love to have a 90-degree angle here. I'm not going to demonstrate that this semester, but that's where your guys are shooting for eventually. Big breath in, lift your arms up, and let's circle with the breath. Exhaling behind you. Inhale, look down at this knee. Make sure it's pointing the same direction as those toes. Big breath in. Exhale, open the arms. This high lunge is going to be your first photo op for those of you who are watching in the video instead of doing live with us today. Warrior one. I'm sorry, it's not warrior one, it's high lunge. One more breath. Experiment with diving your chest down a little lower. Exhale, arms open. We're gonna bend both legs today. You can put your back knee on the floor if you need to, or not, to step back into plank. And every plank we do in this class, you can always choose a modified plank. If you're not doing a ton of push-ups every day, I would say modified plank every time. In this position, friends, let's roll our shoulders back and lift our belly locks in. We want to have a nice flat back. Drop your hips a little more, but don't arch your back down. Micro bend those elbows. Press into the floor, big breath in. We're gonna exhale and bend your elbows by your sides down to the floor. Relax, take a moment. Inhale, gather your belly away from the floor, keep your elbows in, and lift the back of your neck to the sky, looking just a little bit forward in your cobra. Long back of the neck. Exhale, take it back down to the floor. And then we'll press up into your modified plank again. Lift your belly. And we'll come tucking your feet back into downward dog. Try and relax your neck in downward dog. Legs can be together. Knees can be bent. Bend them as much as you want. Opening the back of the legs. We're gonna move a little bit in our downward dog today, so I want you to think about pulling your belly in and curving that back. Shift your weight slightly forward. Exhale, bend your knees and press your weight back towards your tailbone. And just do that with the breath 3 or 4 times as it feels good. Inhale, little micro shift forward. Exhale, send your weight back. One more time. Go ahead and lift that left leg up. Keeping your left hip closed and square. So you should be square, square, square here. We're not yet opening the hip. We'll do that next week. Exhale, bring your left knee into your belly. Shift your weight forward. Take as many steps as you need to find your left lunge. Shifting forward and back in that lunge. Squeeze those legs together and rise up. Big breath in. Drop your shoulders. Lift your bellies. Lengthen your lower back. And exhale, step it together. To the front, as many steps as you need. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, soften. And rise back to upright. And I'm going to just check my chats here, make sure everything's working. Yay. Cool. All right, guys. So now that we did our sun salutation on one side, we're gonna do all that same thing starting with the right leg. Big breath in from the front. Big exhale, soften the knees. Knees together, shoulders back. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, open the heart skyward. Big breath in, rise up. Big exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up to flat back. Lengthen the spine. Radiate forward and back. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat and your right leg is gonna step back. So this is the lunge you were just in. When you feel like you've found your even weight right and left, squeeze your hips together, push into the floor, rise up. Check your alignment. Left knee is forward with the left toe. Belly is lifted, tailbone is dropped. Hips are square to the front. Back leg is trying to be straightening. So I think about reaching through that back heel. And I'm going to inhale and lift up my hands. Exhale, open those wings behind yourself. Just follow your breath. In yoga, we don't need to be exactly in time with each other. It's not a dance class. Instead, I want you to feel your own breath and move with the timing of your inhale and exhale. One more time. Let your breath take you down to your hands. Step it back. Feel that plank. Pointer fingers forward. Elbows micro bend back. Lower yourself down to the floor. Elbows in. Nice. Inhale. Lift from your belly first. Come up into that cobra. Really press into your fingertips and your knuckles. Draw your shoulders back. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, come back up through that modified plank. Lift your belly. Tuck your toes as you press back and shift to your downward dog. And this time we're gonna walk the dog. So in your downward dog position, but you're just gonna walk your legs in place in slow motion, however feels delicious to you. Breathe deep. Let your body wiggle a little side to side. Big deep breaths. Feel your shoulders roll back. Press into your forward knuckles and inhale, lift your right leg this time. Let your hips stay square. Let your shoulders slide towards your hips. And exhale brings the right thigh to your chest. Shifting forward, stepping that foot down. Find your high lunge. Rising up. Bring those arms up with your next inhale. Exhale, circle back. I like to imagine that I'm filling my hands with cool water, lifting that up and dripping it over my head as I exhale. One more time. Stepping together to forward fold at the front of your mat. Really let your head drop for a moment. Inhale, coming halfway up. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend the knees, soften everything. Inhale, rise. Exhale, coming back to your mountain pose. Just rest here. Let your hands stay together in namaste in front of your heart for just a moment. Close your eyes and breathe and see if you can feel your heartbeat in your fingertips. Can you feel your breath against your thumbs as your lungs rise and fall? Taking this time to witness your body. One more breath. Exhale, soften those legs. We're going to gather everything back up. We're going to repeat the same thing we've just done, but we're going to do it continuously so it'll move a little more quickly. So starting left side, front of the mat, big breath in. Exhale, legs together, squat a little bit. Inhale, rise. Get long, gather up your abdomen. Exhale, open chest. Big breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Soft knees are fine. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, take it down. Back to your forward fold. Step back with your left foot to high lunge. Big breath in. Take your hands to namaste. Drop a little bit deeper into your lunge. You should be feeling nice and warm now. Find your breath. Inhale, lift your heart up and your fingers. We're going to open those arms behind ourselves and exhale all the way down to the floor in one big movement. Inhale, up to your cobra. Shoulders back. Exhale, down. Inhale, back up through plank to downward dog. If you are just toast already, anytime we have a downward dog in any yoga class, you can always put your knees on the floor and come back to a child's pose. That is always an acceptable modification. 2 more breaths in your downward dog or your child's pose. If you're in the child's pose, you're thinking about dropping your hips back down to your heels. So you might push with your hands a little bit. And come up to your downward dog if you're not there already. Thinking about your lower back heading towards your knees. We're going to lift that left leg up to the sky. Squaring those shoulders. And I'm just going to bring my leg in, but leave my body right where it is. And then I'm going to inhale and lift my left leg up to the sky again. 2 more times. Inhale, lift that leg. 1 more time. Inhale, lift that leg. Exhale, step through. Find your square hips first. Press it up. Big breath in. Open those arms wide today. This is going to be different than last time. I'm going to take a big breath in. And I'm going to rotate to the left side. So I'm twisting my shoulders, but leaving my hips square to the front. Bring it back front. Exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bend and rise. Up to your standing position. Inhale, rise up center. Here we go. Right side. Exhale, arch your back. Inhale, rise up. Shoulders down, abs in, forward fold. Exhale to the front. Inhale, lengthen the torso, flat back. Exhale, take your chest down to the ground and right foot steps back. Rising up. Your left knee's forward, you're in high lunge. Let your hands come down to namaste and square those hips. Inhale, lift your hands up, looking a bit higher. Exhale, arms open behind you, all the way down to the floor in one great big breath. Inhale, cobra. Pull those shoulders down the back, feel a big abdominal stretch. You can turn your head side to side if that feels good. Exhale, back to the floor. You choose downward dog or child's pose, your choice. Big deep breaths, let it feel juicy. Bring those legs together if they're not already, and bend your right foot, right knee. Extend the right leg. Notice how your right hip wants to go up with that right leg, but I want you for today to keep it square. Exhale, bring the thigh in. Inhale, extend that leg. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend. One more time. Press into your knuckles, press into your fingers, grab that floor. You got this. Exhale, steps you forward. You did it. Find the floor. Rise up. Inhale. Opening your arms to the sides like a big letter T. And rotate to the right. Big breath here. Pull those shoulder blades down. Inhale to the front. Exhale, melt everything. Stepping together to your forward fold and release. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, melt everything. Soft knees, hips come down. Stacking your spine as you breathe in. Bring those hands back to namaste in front of your heart. Breathe deep. Let your eyes close. Witness how you're feeling without judgment. It's hot. Can you feel your heart? Can you feel your breath? Just accepting and appreciating all those little details of being alive. On your next exhale, let your arms open and fall down by your side. So you're just standing casually with your eyes closed. And let your weight shift softly right to left. There's no wrong way to do this. You're just feeling your balance. When you're ready, let your eyeballs open back up. And we're going to do the tree pose, which most of you probably have seen before. We're going to do it with bus stops, as I like to call it. So bus stop A, B, and C, right? If you're on a bus, you want to get off at your own stop, not go to the next stop, because then you just have to walk back again. And that's true in yoga too. We want to work at the place where we feel our edge. So it's where we feel physical challenge, whether that's in flexibility or stamina, but not push beyond that because we're trying to build the strength at that level, and that's what lifts us beyond that. So here for our first tree, let's all stand on our left leg, and we'll take our right knee, and we're gonna bend it, and we're gonna turn it out. Just feel that feeling. So my hips are staying square to the front, but my knees turning out. I'm standing on, oh, I'm gonna switch for you guys because I usually like to mirror you. So this is your right leg and this is your left leg. And I'm gonna put my ankle, my heel on my ankle here. So this is the bus stop A tree with hands in namaste. Yeah? Bus stop B tree, if you're feeling like your balance is good, is to put the arch of the foot onto the calf. Yeah? We're never gonna put weight into the side of the knee because sideways pressure on the knee is really pretty dangerous. So there's a bit of a jump between bus stop B and bus stop C, which is above the knee. So pick one that works for you. D is all the way up in the crevice. Find your spot. And then notice that you want to feel that, again, lengthening of the tailbone down behind you. And it's totally okay to feel like you're surfing on the floor in your ankle. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Balance is about surfing on top of this globe that's spinning through the universe. It's not so much about holding tight. Let's add some breath with our arms. We're going to inhale, drawing the arms up this time, and exhale out to the sides. Inhale up the center. And let your gaze pick one spot straight ahead of where your third eye would be. So right in the middle of your forehead. And when you're ready, go ahead and unhook that leg, beep, and switch sides. And remember, whichever bus stop you want to stay at for today is great. So if you're working on A, balance here is feeling like where you got to be, that's awesome. Just stick with it. So find your bus stop on the other side, whatever it is today. A is toes on the floor, B is on the calf, never on the side of the knee, please. And C is up on the thigh, or C is low thigh, D is high thigh. So I would like your second picture for today to be your tree, and it can be any of those trees that you want. So if you're taking a selfie to document this, try and get out so I can see the positions of your legs and hips for feedback. Let's add some breath. Go ahead and unhook that knee and let yourself sway it out. Whatever feels good. Wiggle those hands. Step it back together. Big breath in. And exhale down in the front. We're going to do this only once. If you have knee issues, skip this one. If your knees are nice and healthy, knees and toes stay together as we bend. We're lifting up here, and I'm going to let my heels rise up as I lower slowly to the ground. Once you get down here, reach forward, bend your back, and find the ground, which you have earned some time on the ground. Hooray! I'm going to check my chat, see if anybody has any questions real quick, and then we will proceed to floor stretches. Looking okay so far? Okay, alrighty. On the floor, We're going to start with everybody's favorite or least favorite, the pigeon. So I'm going to take one knee. Let's say this is your right knee. And we're going to start with your right knee forward. And I'm going to scoot this ankle up so it's trying to be close to the same distance forward as my knee, but it's not going to be, and that's all right. So a little bit bent is fine, but I do want that knee to be pointing forward. And then my back hip is trying to roll closed. Your back leg probably doesn't go this far back. Like, bend it, bring it forward, that's fine. We're gonna bring our hips towards the front knee, walk yourself down, and relax into that pigeon pose. And while you're here, there's a few ways that you can support your head. You can make a little shelf here, a little silly 80s prom picture shelf with your wrists. You can also stack two fists and put your forehead down on that. So see if you can find a way to make yourself comfortable. In the eventuality, you do want to extend that back leg all the way back and let it be long behind you, but it might not be there today, it might not be there next year, and that's okay. So you're just working towards it, letting yourself relax into this stretch, trying to drop the weight of your head into your hands, whichever position that is, bus stop A, B, wherever. And notice how you're feeling. Some of us will feel much more in the opening of the back hip. Some of us will feel much more in the outside, the part you're sitting on, of the front hip. For me, it's usually the front hip. So think about letting your back hip roll in towards the leg, and let's focus on the front hip together. Breathe into it. And remember, we want to have a sense that we're working at our edge, but it should never be a sharp pain. So there's discomfort in a deep stretch, but you can breathe into it, and it shouldn't be a sharp pain or tightening or spasming. It just is like an ache that we're trying to let ease out. That's our goal. Let's find our breath, dropping into that front leg. If you're not feeling this front hip yet and you want to increase your stretch, do so by shifting your front foot forward so you have more of a right angle in front of you. Let's breathe into this pose for 5 big breaths. Gently lift your torso up. We're going to walk ourselves up with the hands. Lift from the base of your abdomen and try and pull your shoulder blades down and back. Opening up the chest and rising skyward. And we're going to shift here. So I want you to point that front foot. Yeah, not flex, but point. We're going to tuck it underneath. And we're going to lift up that front hip. So feel the difference between when we're down on the side versus when we're up off the ground. So I can fit my hand sliding underneath this back. We're going to exhale and bend our elbows with our elbows in and squeeze our shoulders back. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Roll back onto that hip so we're back on our side. We're going to take our back leg, tuck it behind ourselves. So now we're in sort of a figure 4 shape. I'm just going to reach away from that back leg. Inhale up and then reach towards it. So a big side bend. And you probably feel this hip opening a little bit. 2 more times. You might feel a little squeeze or a little cramp in that side of the hip. If so, you can loosen it up, lean away from it. Here's your last one. We're going to take both hands down, and I'm going to walk myself back behind my hips. Yeah, and I'm going to let my belly, I'm going to take my belly, pull my abdominal wall in, curve my lower back. This knee might float up off the ground a little bit, but I'm going to try and keep it down. You can see a little better if I'm over here. Try to keep it down and curve downward. So I'm stretching through the thigh and into the hip socket a little bit here. Feeling that stretch, lengthening this leg that was back behind you into the hip socket. Lengthen it open. One more breath here. Good. Go ahead and rise up. We're going to put that leg that was in the back, now that one's going to be in the front. So switching into your opposite pigeon. Find all the room you need and take some time melting into your hands. Big deep breaths. Slowing down, we're trying to relax down, ending up with a slow heartbeat. Find a way to support your head if you haven't already so that you can release the upper back muscles. Big deep breaths. If you're feeling a big stretch, really let that tension exhale out of your body as much as you can. Let go of that tension that's not helping you. Let go of any tiredness that you don't need. If you're not feeling a big stretch in the front hip, go ahead and adjust your heel forward so that the outside of that hip is really opening, and breathe into it. On your next inhale, we're going to rise up with the hands, pressing into the floor, rolling those shoulders back, lifting up from the base of the abdomen, lengthening through the lower back, finding a long spine, and then we'll do 4 breaths, easing back into the earth as we exhale. Elbows to the back of the room. Inhale, press through your fingers. Exhale, take it down. 2 more. And as we come up this time, we're going to bring your forward foot in and bend your forward foot behind you. It would be awesome if your weight is on both hips evenly, but that might not be the case. So adjust your legs to somewhere that feels a little more comfy. Lift up through that torso. And we're going to exhale side to side. Inhaling up. Breathe more than you need to. Let it be luxurious, a big gift to yourself of oxygen. Go ahead and take those hands back, roll those shoulders back, and tuck your pelvis, lengthening that bent leg forward. So you're lengthening forward through that thigh, and you're rocking your pelvis just like we did in those roll down ab exercises earlier. You're tucking it underneath and opening up the space between the thigh and your pelvis. If it feels good to rock, then rock it out. Find your breath. Let it be a gift. Big deep breaths. Over breathe. One more breath here. Gently walk it up. Bring yourself around to the center. Find any comfortable seated position that works for you. So you can be however you want. If you are watching the recording of this, here's going to be our last documented photo, and I'm most interested in seeing your upper back. So if you can, selfie it in the mirror maybe, or maybe selfie in this side. We're going to take one hand up in the air. So let's say this is your right hand. Notice where your spine wants to be when you're not thinking about it, because it's probably not very straight. Most of us aren't. But I'd like you to think about lifting in through your abdomen, rotating those shoulders down and back. And I'm going to lift up my right hand. And I'm going to just bend, pointing that right elbow at the ceiling, and place the right hand squarely in the center of my upper back. Yeah? So if you're taking the selfie, it's going to be like this for your documentation. If you're with us and you have a mirror, notice whether most of us press our rib cage forward a little bit in this position. We want to bring the ribs right over the pelvis. And then my left hand is going to go down to my left knee. I'm going to take a big breath in and get as tall as possible. Pointing my right elbow to the sky, I'm going to press with my left hand into that knee and spiral. Trying to keep myself up on top of my body. And I'm opening this right elbow out to the side as I go. So I feel an armpit stretch as I twist open. Come on back center. Drop those shoulders down. I'm going to take my left hand, which is the one that was on the knee. I'm going to reach behind myself. Grab two places on your shirt. If you can grab your hands, this is called the cow face pose arm bind. You don't have to remember that right now. If you can grab your hands, great. Otherwise, grab your shirt in two places and sit up as tall as you can. Big breath forward. I want you to drop your chin to your chest and curve that upper back now. And feel how those hands come apart as you do so, and that's fine. Opening up the back. And then let your arms fall out. So you're just relaxing forward. Curving the upper back, relaxing forward. Grab your hands in front of yourself, flip the palms away, and press your palms like you're trying to push out. Lean to the left. And I'm almost taking my left hand and pulling my right arm out. Go ahead and do that if it feels good. And you want to see if you can make a little bit of space in that tight spot between your shoulder blade and your spine. Big breath in. Switch hands. Pull your left arm across your body. Come back center. Drop those arms. Inhale, back upright. Circle your shoulders a few times. Find that vertical spine. Left hand's going to reach up straight ahead of you and pat yourself on the back. And it'll feel like if you bend over, you get further, but it's a myth. Go ahead and roll those shoulders down and back and point your left elbow straight up in the air to get as tall as possible. Gather your abdomen. Big breath in. Pressing your right hand into your right knee. We're rotating around. Shoulders down, open chest, big spiral. Stretch in the armpit, maybe even the back of your left arm. Shoulders roll down and back. Inhaling back front. Right hand's going to swing around behind. We're going to grab two places on the shirt or maybe both hands. Find that vertical spine. Dropping your chin to your chest. Let your neck release. I'm going to hold on to my hands as I melt forward, but they are going to come apart. Slow motion, melt it down. Feel your back. Let it go. Choose to open it up. Roll part way up. Flip those hands, press it forward. Rock to your left. And center and rock to your right. Come on to the middle. Release those shoulders, and we're going to come on down to Shavasana. That's the part where we get to lay down and relax. Everyone's favorite. Go ahead. Find yourself on the floor. Nice and long. With your knees comfortable. So however your legs flop out is fine. Arms are about 15 degrees out to the side of your body. And you want your palms up so that your shoulders can rotate open. Let your eyeballs close. And for the next just a few minutes, all we're gonna do is let the heat melt us into the floor. Big breath in. And big exhale. Slow breath in. Big exhale. Gently let yourself come back to the room. And your eyes can open. Go ahead and bend one leg. Use that leg to push yourself onto your side to the reflective pose. Just sort of like fetal position, but not quite as crunched up. From here, use those arms to help yourself back upright. I'm gonna come on in to say hi. Hello. I'm gonna turn down my music here. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna unmute you. How did we do on our first day? You can chat me, you can say hi. I'm gonna turn off the spotlight. How do we do, folks?
How'd what?
Good.
Good.
You guys look sweaty. I dig it. Yes.
Got a workout in.
Cool. That's great. I really miss seeing you guys. When you're a little bit more used to the stuff I do, then I'm going to take some more time so that I can give you live folks some feedback. Does that sound okay? I know it's hard to not be in the same room. Was there anything that was particularly not working for you guys today? Oh, pretty okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My hands get super slippery on my mat. Like, is there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, there's a few answers to that. One, sometimes I used to just like wipe my hands on my shirt. But also, I have hot towels. I don't know if you can see. The lighting is kind of weird in here. So I have basically like a yoga mat towel on top of my yoga mat. That can help, or you can just put a towel at the front of your mat and like pat yourself dry in the middle of class.
okay.
Another option is if you have a new mat, like you just have used it like 10 times or something, sometimes giving it a little wipe down helps get it a little bit less slippery. But yeah, it's a normal sweaty yoga thing. So bring a towel, try like wiping it down with maybe a wash rag and some water, and that might help too.
Like, okay, hand towel.
Yeah, totally. That's absolutely a great way to go. It's also kind of nice if you have a hand towel at the front of your mat because you can like pat your face dry if you're sweating.
That's my other towel.
How are the back of our wrists doing today? Because I sent you up a lot. Are we good? Kind of medium? Little sore?
Kind of hurt a little.
A little bit
Little sore?
sore.
So part of that, it's two parts. Like if you know you already have some tendonitis there from the typey, it can be rough, but part of that is building strength in your forearms and the alignment of where your elbows are. So we'll do a whole breakdown about the wrist positions that I spun by really fast today, but go ahead and just like flex your knuckles and your thumbs down towards that forearm and get a stretch right here for today. And know that it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that you can't do yoga. We'll get you stronger. It's kind of a growing process. Usually this takes a little bit to get cool with those arm balances. Yay, I see people are relaxed. That's excellent. Yay. Did anybody else hear the volume drop down at some point, or that was just a one person? I see Shirley's chat. Anybody else have that problem?
That was mine, but that was my phone.
Okay, good.
I shut down to go help some And so,
Cool. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't on my end.
no, I
Okay.
was just doing it all by sight on my little phone.
Oh. I'm sure you're not alone in that, right? There's got to be some other folks on phones here. Hello, Orlando.
I just realized my video was off, Lily. Oh my gosh.
That's all right. It doesn't have to be on all the time.
Jeez.
So any other questions before I set you free, my friends?
So I only didn't check in the first part.
Okay, everybody check in chat now.
Okay.
Let me know your class unit and say hello and goodbye. And then I will see you guys again on Tuesday. If you have any questions that come up, or if you maybe normally when if you guys are new to working out, you might be sore today, but if you're gonna get sore, it probably won't be for 24 hours. So you'll feel sore like the end of Friday and into the weekend. So I will be really curious to hear from you guys where, if anywhere, you feel it when we meet back up again, because then we can talk about how to get stronger and more comfy there. Sound good? Thank you guys so much for joining me, especially Chelsea's cat.
I have two of them, so.
Yay! Oh, that one's got a floofy tail.
Yeah, she's fluffy.
Yay!
Can I ask one quick question?
Absolutely. Who is asking me, but yes.
Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi. That was mostly like an upper body lesson, right? Well, what did we focus on today?
I can just barely hear you. So you said you mostly felt upper body from doing the
Yeah.
lowers?
Was it meant to be just an upper body sort of lesson?
No. So what you're going to feel more of as we refine the lunges is you should feel your quadriceps and your hips opening in the lunges. I think you guys you just saw like the beginning warm up with me in your playlist for Yoga One, those of you who are Monday through Thursday, right? So I'm pretty damn pregnant right now. So my lunge is way higher than what a young, fit 20-year-old might be able to do. So as you poke around, so if you're doing a high lunge normally, like I'm gonna do small high lunge, you're not gonna feel your legs here if you're a normal fit 20-year-old. The goal is for your front knee to be at 90 degrees here. So this thigh would be parallel with the floor and your back leg is straight and all the way out. So if you're feeling like this is easy as pie, it's time to step wider and hang as low as you can. Yeah, I just can't do that right now because my body is a whole different ball of wax full of these hormones that make my ligaments stretch too far. So I have to pull back right now. But as you move through the class, and I'll share some other videos where you can see demonstrations of like, what does a high lunge look like? So if you're not feeling your legs, feel free to get wider and lower. Does that help? Cool. Any other excellent questions? If you guys are ready to go, you can go. If you want to stay and ask me for feedback on something or show me yourselves and say like, am I doing this right? I totally have a little bit of time. Otherwise, goodbye and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber.
Thank
you.
Thank you guys. That was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hey. Hi, Abby. Have a good night. Press this button.
I just have a question, Professor.
Yes.
About the three poses. What the three poses?
Hi. Three poses are, hold on, let me turn off some, I have all these buttons going right now.